Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
And a good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live on Edmonton Sports Talk, edmontonsportstalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio for those. Thanks to those watching on YouTube, as well as to those listening to the podcast. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzla, Murray McCourt with you here today on this glorious fall Monday that's supposed to be absolutely fantastic weather-wise. The next 2 days closing in on 20 degrees. So I'll get that in before we kind of get back to that regular fall weather.
It's coming. The fall weather is coming.
It's been here. Yeah. I actually, I went to the tailgate to drop off the chili on Saturday, and just standing outside, I'm like, this is like perfect fall football weather. Yeah, this feels nice. This feels great. This is the type of temperature you want for football at that point.
The crunch of the pads.
Yeah.
So EST had chili in the chili cook-off?
We didn't officially enter the chili cook-off. We as a sponsor of the second annual tailgate chili cook-off, we had a pot, which went quicker than I expected.
Hey, the water was gone really quick too. There was a few left by the time I got there. I got there around 10 after 4, I think. Very, very busy. Very, very busy chili cook-off. And I saw Jay and Andrea, but I only saw Jay, and apparently his chili went like that. Like, it went super quick, yeah. So
we had about 50 people. Ours went in with about 50 people. I was thinking maybe it'd get about 150, but I didn't do my math correctly at all.
So who was the EST chef?
Maddie.
Now
he made traditional, not home style, no beans, Texas, as per the Council of
International Chili Society.
Yeah.
I will also say Tube Socks, who ended up coming to Century to join Jay and I for the Green and Gold kickoff post-game shows and the game, did say my chili was quite tasty.
Wow.
So I got high praise from him on that one.
So are you a chili guy?
It was the first time I ever made chili.
Okay.
First time ever.
So you just followed a recipe then. There's nothing
I found a recipe online.
Yeah.
I took an advice from Jay, and I threw a little maple syrup in there to add a little sweet. And I took advice from a listener, I believe, threw it into the Nasty Chat last week about liquid smoke with the meat. But my liquid smoke, I don't think you could taste it much.
You said you have to be careful with that.
Yeah, if you do a little too much, it could be very overpowering. Okay. So you want to do less than more. So clearly I did too little. I followed the instructions on the back. I did exactly, 2 parts per pound. So I did this 8 parts. And it wasn't as smoky. But
I chose not to go early enough to the game to go to the chili cook-off because I've never had a bite of chili in my life, and I don't plan to. So there's no chili cook-off.
Okay.
No tailgating for me that day.
Maddie's befuddled.
Well, the idea of just you're right there is just like I don't plan to. Why dismiss chili just like that?
It's like a tomato. I don't like tomato base. Like anything tomato based, I'm not going to touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pasta is out of the question?
Oh, Alfredo sauce. But
he won't do
my
spaghetti.
Pasta is just butter and Parmesan cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, that works too.
Yummy.
A lot of people like vodka sauce is good too. Have you had that? It's like the orange one. No. It's not tomato based.
No, I have not had a vodka based sauce on my pasta. No. Is that something I should try?
It's good. It's different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I bet it would be.
It's orange.
It's orange.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks more like cheese, like a cheddar cheese sauce, but it's vodka.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I don't know how much.
Like vodka?
No. It's a very distinct taste.
Alcohol kind of cooks off, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you can get it in a jar at the supermarket. Like this vodka sauce. It's good. It's different.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out in the grocery aisle.
Yes, in the sauce aisle.
Maybe we need a big pasta cook-off one day.
I made pasta over the weekend. Delicious.
Did you?
Yeah.
At a recent hangout, I got heck from you for cooking spaghetti and snapping it in half, right? So, you got to put it in whole.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, you gave me heck for it too.
Because you don't break it.
Tried it, and the pasta never sunk into the
pot,
like
you said.
You kind of
gently. You just keep pushing it as it's cooking.
You guys need to give better directions then. because I'm like,
Well, I
when
think
is this
that's
going to
kind of-
just?
It's like you just
I
kind
think
of
it's a little bit of. I figured like we didn't need to explain that.
yeah, like it stands up and then as it soaks, you just
could
gently like put it and it falls gracefully into the pot.
Bending it over, and then all of it gets in there.
Yeah.
And then you could start mixing it,
Yeah.
like stirring it a little bit.
I ruined my whole pasta. Trying this ruined my whole spaghetti
Half
meal
of it
because
was
half
cooked.
of it was like cooked and half of it was not cooked, and
It's an easy fix.
I'll try again.
Yeah, and you'll watch
Well,
it.
I guess
down,
next
push it
time you
in.
could also just take tongs for the part that's cooked, click it, and like flip it over.
That is true.
You could have done that too.
If you're in a pickle like that, yeah.
All right.
We do now
See, I'm
have a
learning.
little propane stove or a butane gas fueled stove that isn't for purposes indoors, but we could bring it here one day and we could do a whole
Demonstrate?
demonstration of cooking pasta. on
Well,
there.
and then we could eat it. That would be fun with butter and Parmesan cheese. No tomato sauce.
No tomato sauce. Joaquin, oddly enough, made pasta in that little toaster oven.
Did he?
Yeah, on Friday.
Oh wow.
He's good. He is really taking that. He found the toaster oven in the kitchen area we have in this office building, and he makes everything in there.
Well, there's timers in there because that's what my mom was when I was growing up, a piano teacher. So she always had students at lunchtime. And so my lunch when I get home from school, a lot of the times it was baked pasta in a toaster oven because
And
it
it
would be
works.
a timer. And oh man, like now spaghetti with butter and then mozza or cheddar cheese on top and then bake it. Oh boy, that's good.
I'm getting hungry.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Me too. Like how we just start with the food. It's all the chili cook-off's fault. Stay tuned to the Elks call this week on their YouTube channel, or Friday. A friend of EST, we air it, and the winner of the chili cook-off will be announced.
Yes.
So that's coming up
We don't
this
know
week.
who the winner was.
No, people went there. There was, I think Scout in the Nasty Chat with the Morning Boys said there was over 300 votes.
Nice.
Came in by, tasted, voted, and then they'll announce it on their show this week.
Okay,
And then
fun.
I think the last home game of the season, which is the 25th against Toronto, they'll present the trophy for the second annual chili cook-off, presented by Elks Herd, Turf District, Edmonton Sports Stock, and You Need a Barbecue. So boom.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Delicious.
Lots to get to on the Hangout today, including the keyword for the next chance to qualify for the EST Flyweight to Los Angeles, presented by 780. We want to send you LA December 26th to the 30th to see a basketball, a football, and a hockey game. We've got to get to Road Warriors, brought to you by AccuSteel. Lots of other things to get to, but let's get to the Hangout headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time by visiting theranchgolf.com. Murray's still going with October 20th, which means 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're
2 weeks left.
running out of time for sure.
Go get your tee time.
Weather's been awesome. The course is so good. I'm on the DL. I haven't been able to play for a few weeks and out for the year, but I keep hearing about how the greens are just lightning fast right now and rolling amazing. So
Nice.
I'm like, oh, makes me want to go play, but
You got to rest that rotator cuff.
gotta labrum.
Labrum.
Labrum. Oh,
Yeah.
was
He was
yours
a
rotator
rotator.
No,
cuff?
it's labrum.
Yours was labrum too, but
Yeah,
he
oh,
needed
right, yeah.
surgery.
Mine were bad enough they need surgery. It can be taken care of with just physio,
Yeah.
depending on your tears, or it could be attempted to taken care of with shots.
With PRP injections, which is what
you're doing.
am in, yeah. Don't need surgery, but which is so weird when we've compared notes on our shoulder injuries. His only impacted him with golf. Mine certainly impacts me with golf, but it impacts me with everything else too. And I don't need surgery. He did. So it's interesting. Shoulders are a unique body part for sure.
21 today, 22 tomorrow. The rest of the week, you're in the mid-teens. Looking at the weekend, actually Sunday saying 20 again.
Wow, good.
Yeah.
So lots of
weekend
like
is great.
2 weeks to golf, but the weather's holding up very nicely to have like really nice golf. So book your tee time at ranchgolf.com.
One frost delay all year.
Really?
One.
Nice.
Yeah.
Early?
Nice,
Or
nice,
this
nice.
late?
It was,
Was it spring or was...
No, it was in the fall. Here,
Okay.
But yeah, it was like unbelievable.
Real quick, Alicia, via the inbox 780-218-99. Vodka sauce is made with tomato sauce, though. Oh,
out.
sorry. My
I'm
bad.
out.
I didn't know it was.
You're
Thank
trying-
you,
Yeah,
Alicia.
you're going to have a tough time finding a lot of pasta sauces that don't have tomatoes. You found...
Alfredo.
Yeah.
Alfredo.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot... I don't think there'd be a lot more.
And Cal in the Park has a recommendation for Murray, too. Says, add garlic butter with basil and Italian seasoning and parm on your spaghetti.
Oh boy, yeah. That is a good suggestion. You're going to have to screenshot that one and text it to me. 'Cause
I can do that.
I could try that.
Veer Montenegro, I'm playing the ranch this afternoon.
Yes.
Nice.
Keep them straight, no 3 putts. Elks, their season officially, well, it's not done. They have 2 more games left. They'll get Calgary on Saturday. They got Toronto in a couple weeks after a bye week, but they will be not making the playoffs. Where do we go from here with this franchise?
What a loaded question, hey?
Well, I will say something I found interesting listening to the mandate today with Rashog and Eric and Dusty was, I think it was Rashog at one point mentioned last season, there's a better feeling, more energy following this season than there was last season.
100% agree on that.
And I don't.
You don't?
Last season, the season ended and everyone thought Trey Ford's going to be the starting quarterback of this team. They put Trey Ford out there after an 0-8 start to the season. He lost the 9th game. They rattled off a bunch of wins. There were some good parts to that team, and I think there was a lot of buzz of, okay, well, Trey's going to be the guy next year. They're gonna go out there. They're gonna get to free agency. They're gonna go make the right moves to improve this team. Hopefully, go get that kick return. Hopefully, go get that kicker. Maybe add to the offensive line. And next season's gonna be Trey's season. And it changed where the feelings turned because they brought in MBT, I believe. Yeah. When we go back, we think that there was the big controversy was the people like me who were very anti-MBT signing, not anti-MBT, but anti-MBT signing. Mm-hmm. And then there were those that were the pro signing. And that maybe has taken away what people remember for how last season ended. But when it ended last season, people were, I think, very excited that, okay, well, the second half of the season, look at what Trey Ford did. Okay, let's see what he can do as the starter because he's the definitive starter for 2024. And then it changed.
Yeah,
I think you're bang on, but I think the other piece to maybe why there's a little more optimism right now is because there's the ownership. Mm-hmm. But you're so right on Trey Ford. I mean, excited to come and actually watch a fabulously exciting player play football, and we got that taken away from us. So that was, just not completely unhappy with that. But this new ownership, and man, like it seems like there's almost a divide now of MBT and Trey, where a year ago it was all Trey S. We're all on, and even 3 weeks ago it was all Trey. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that might be turning a little bit now for some silly reason. But, there's the new ownership, I think, is where the optimism and excitement for the future is probably coming from. Yeah, well, but
I feel like this excitement is the same. I think that there is excitement. There is a lot to be excited about for next year. I just feel like last year there was also very much excitement following that season. That, hey, look, Chris Jones kept his job because of Trey Ford. And it was like, look, this team has a quarterback now. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened in the offseason has clouded a little bit of how we view how last season kind of ended with this team. And that's where I go, like, I get a little frustrated for this season in that I do feel there's similarities, so we wasted a season. Wasted season because we don't know who Trey Ford is. I don't know if Trey Ford is the starting quarterback. I believe Trey Ford could be a starting quarterback in this league. But I wanted this season to be proven.
Yeah, and we got nothing.
Exactly.
Well, we got, what, a 4-game window, 5-game window, maybe?
We actually won. Games were being won when he was the quarterback.
2.5. He had the full Saskatchewan game.
Yeah.
He had the full three-quarters of I'll give him the full Winnipeg game. He rightfully got pulled in that game, in my opinion. He got a quarter against Hamilton, and he got that little bit of game against BC until they
lost or got hurt.
That's it.
This is interesting. I mean, I was going to say this. When that signing was announced, I think we were all in the Hangout. Murray, you might have been in that day. I know we talked about it with you, certainly. But we basically laid out how it would go with MBT being there and Trey being there as well. And it has essentially gone exactly how we described it. MBT, how would he be? Would he be rusty after sitting out a year? Yeah, he was. Was he the guy that could put them over the top in games? We doubted that. And I think we were fair in doing that, and we were right. And now he put them into a position early on in the season to win, and their kicker let them down, or they and there were times where the defense let them down and they lost on a last-second field goal. Understandable, but he was never the guy that could take a game by the throat and just stomp all over the opposition. He didn't have that till the Hamilton game. Played good in the back-to-back against Calgary in the Labor Day Classic and the Labor Day rematch. But then there was the back and forth, like we suspected there would be, of them going to Trey, and then him giving us a tantalizing sample. He gets hurt again, which is unfortunate. And that's another thing, too, I don't think we've talked a lot about is he injury prone?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because he doesn't play a lot, but when he does, he gets hurt.
He's small.
Right?
Yeah, last season, I go back to last season where he played from week 9 or the 9th game of the season through to the end, and he didn't get hurt. Mm-hmm. So there was that one stretch. Year 1, he got hurt.
Right.
Year 2, or year 3, he got hurt.
Yep.
I'm not ready to label somebody injury prone because of 2 injuries in 3 seasons type thing, especially when one of those seasons, for a large chunk of it, he didn't get hurt.
Right.
But, he can't get hurt moving forward. He's got to protect himself better. That BC game, he needed to throw that ball away. I remember yelling, get rid of that ball. And then he got hit, yelling to myself, like with Jay, and not like at the game or anything. And he's got to be smarter with that because he is a smaller guy, as you say.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks, even take this in the NFL too, NFL, CFL, how many quarterbacks play all 18 games?
Very rare. They all get dinged up.
They all get dinged up. It's a physical game, a physical sport, and I mean that's what happens. That's why you need 2 quality guys, which Edmonton has. But ultimately, for me, it comes down to like when I was on the Hangout last, or maybe it wasn't in the Hangout. I told you that like flat out, I was told by an extremely reliable source. I'm not going to tell you who it is, that Trey Ford was coming back in that game and was going to be the starter. And I was told he was going to be the starter for the rest of the year and into the playoffs because he is their guy. Flat out, that was what it was. And boy, did that turn in a big hurry when he was flat out their guy for the rest of the year. That's what I was told. And somehow that got flipped in a way. Like he came in off of an injury, rusty, playing the best team in the league. They were in the game when they pulled him. Like you just said that you justifiably thought he was pulled. Man, they were in the game. He was playing against the best team in the league.
That last
the game
pick
was there. The game was there. Okay, then.
But he wasn't going to get it done. Like in that game, he didn't have it.
Like they barely got over half in that game till.
Yeah. But I think you could have made the argument then. Okay, for development of a young quarterback, you let him see how he responds to that in the next game.
Exactly. Well, see how he responds to that in the next series. He makes that bad play. Let him come back and see how.
Well, he made quite a few bad plays in that game. Sure. And I will say the one thing about that Winnipeg game was, I remember talking on the post-game show, he was making mistakes of early Trey Ford than this year Trey Ford. Like he was leaving his pocket way too soon. The O-line, I got to give credit. I was completely wrong on the O-line this year. I thought it was going to be a disaster.
Yeah, they held up.
They've been great this season. Yeah. And in that game, I remember seeing the one highlight of the shot shooting at the offense, and the pocket was there, and Trey immediately left. And I'm like, that's not what he did against Saskatchewan. Like you go just this season, Saskatchewan, he stayed in his pocket. Mm-hmm. He stayed looking for his throws, and we could all point that Tevin Jones where he even stepped up to make that throw. I do want to go into the nasty chat. Reed Wilkins jumping in. He'll be on the Hangout tomorrow. Ford may not be injury prone, but the way he plays makes him more susceptible to being hurt while out of the pocket, which could lead to injury. But then that could be said for anyone like VA. He scrambles a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I don't want the full comparison in terms of top end talent because he isn't fully this player. But Lamar Jackson, like I feel there's a lot of comparisons with Lamar Jackson in the sense is that Lamar was coming into the NFL, and the reason he got drafted 32nd overall was because a lot of teams wanted to play him as wide receiver, and the Ravens were like, "We'll trade up and take him as a quarterback." Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of knocks on Lamar that he can't throw the football or he runs too much and he's going to get hurt all the time. Well, Lamar is a 2-time MVP of that league. His throwing has improved massively in that league. And yeah, he runs, and that makes him more susceptible to injury and stuff, but he also leads his team to victories. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that, with having a quarterback that could move and run. You just have to learn how to be smart with it. You have to learn when to take hits and when not to take hits.
You're describing exactly what Trey Ford has done with this team. He isn't the best thrower, but the only way he's going to get better is if he plays and gets reps. But he's won games, way more games and way less opportunities than any other quarterback in the last few years. So I think he was screwed over. 100%. I think he was screwed over.
Yeah.
And now where are we? I mean, because MBT's 38 years old. He's not the future of this team. Could he come back and play next year?
Sure.
Maybe.
Well,
but
Calvin C. in the Nasty Chat says, crazy how Dusty said he heard from some in the Elks organization that want MBT back next season. If you go that Rocco all in on VA.
There are qualities that MBT possesses, and Rashog talked about them on the Morning Mandate, and it is like the leadership. He is a pro, and it sounds like that there was a good relationship between him and Ford, but what matters most is getting the wins and producing, performing.
But even go back to that Winnipeg game, MBT came in when they pulled Trey, and he got absolutely nothing done either. I mean, Winnipeg is a damn good football team with a great defense, and that's tough. And look what they did to Edmonton the next week. And sure, MBT's stats looked way better than they were in garbage time. But in the first 2.5, 3 quarters of that game,
What was it, 27 zip?
he was equally pathetic. So I don't know. It's very frustrating. And what's going to happen moving forward here is even going to be more fascinating because. Who's making the decisions right now? Because we have the coach that is, in my opinion, done. I think he was done the second that he screwed over Trey Ford last time, but I don't think he's coming back as the head coach. But is he going to be told to play Trey Ford, or is he going to be let to do whatever he wants to do and just stick with MBT, which makes no sense at this point in time?
But are we really going to learn from about anything in these next 2 games from Trey Ford? I don't think it matters.
He gets reps, though. He needs reps.
Hey, absolutely, but I don't think these 2 change anything, like whether you're going to sign him or not, whether you want to bring him back or not. They're meaningless football games. One of them is against the Calgary Stampeders, and the last game might actually be completely meaningless because Toronto might be locked into 3rd in the East, and they might be like, we're going to rest players for next year. That these are 2 games that just like, okay, whatever. Like, if they want to go play with Dakota Prukop, it really doesn't matter in that. I don't think this changed anything with Trey Ford.
It's entirely likely and probable that the people making the decisions on Trey Ford's future with the team aren't with the team today.
That's a good point.
I will say the one thing on MBT, and I think this week's game is a perfect example of who MBT is. He's a fine quarterback. His statistically looks great. If you want to just look at numbers and you don't want to, fully watch the games, it looks like he had a fantastic football game. But in the 4th quarter, a lot of 2-and-outs.
Yep.
When it's critical moments, he can't go and lead a team down the field to get you that victory.
2 bad picks.
And it's never his fault. It's always they get so close and they never win, but it's never MBT's fault. It's never on him. This is a guy that has a below 500 career record, and not a short sample size on that one. It's a long one, and then that's he's fine. But he doesn't do enough to get you the win. Yeah, he doesn't do enough to
clutch.
He doesn't have that Michael Riley 4th quarter. He gets the ball with one drive left, and you're like, okay, I believe in this team. MBT gets that ball late, and you're like, well, something's going to happen. It's not MBT's fault because it's never MBT's fault.
If the roles were reversed next year, if they bring MBT back he's a fabulous backup to have, a guy that can come in and be serviceable and manage a game reasonably well and whatnot. If Trey does get hurt, you need him to come in for a couple of games. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, if they flipped it, but I think there's going to be so much change next year,
and there should be.
Yeah,
new president coming in. Their first big decision, football-wise, is who's the GM.
Yep.
And then is that G-Roy or are you hiring someone else? And then their first big decision is it Jarius Jackson or is it someone else's head coach?
It's not Jarius Jackson. Can't be.
But if it's G-Roy, why wouldn't it be?
Well, that's a loaded question too, but I don't know. I think it's ultimately up to what does Larry Thompson want for the direction of this football club, and and there is an opportunity for a complete reset here. There is a lot of talent on this football team, and there's a lot of great players. The receiving core is good. The O line is good. The running back room, my goodness.
Yeah, three guys that can
defense.
They're moving on from Kevin Brown.
Yeah,
the defense at times has been okay. I mean, you could maybe help a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you got Trey Ford. What do we know about Trey Ford?
But they don't have Trey Ford.
Well,
because he is a free agent.
He's a free agent. So your starting quarterback next year is probably one of 3 guys: Trey Ford, MBT, or Vernon Adams. That's probably the only 3 options I can think of on the top of my head.
I'd say it better be. Like, because there is the 4th option is...
Bo Levi Mitchell.
No, you want to know something? That did come across my mind this
I
weekend.
know, and it's just
but that's
like,
not the one I was going to go with. It was going to be some young stud that you find from college that comes up and plays
you have
well.
that, Trey Ford.
Well, U.S. college type thing.
Yeah.
I will say this on Trey. I think he got extra love early in his career because he was a Canadian.
Sure.
But I think if he was an American and showed the glimpses in a game that we've saw, he would have started full time by now. But because he's Canadian, he's got the nod. I think the Canadian has played in favor of him
there
early.
Is a stigma.
But I think later on it has hurt him. Some will say he gets extra love and praise because he's Canadian, and sure, from the media he might be. But I think football coaches wise, if he was an American and showed the glimpses of what he's done based on last season and this season, he would have easily been a starter.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair statement. This text says, so ultimately the Double E had another season of not letting Ford develop.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a season that essentially was stuck in neutral.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah.
And that's the frustrating part, because when we were talking in February, January about the MBT signing, it was like, play Trey Ford this year because maybe he isn't the guy.
Then
but we would know.
He is the backup, yeah.
Well, but we would have known.
Now
And
we
it's
know.
okay,
Now we know.
they have to go all in on VA next year. They have to go all in on getting him in, because who else are you going to go get? You know. But we still don't fully know about Trey. Trey still might not be a great Canadian Football League starting quarterback. That is very much a possibility. Trey could also go to sign with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and also be a pretty solid quarterback for the next 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, we don't have any, like, more, the water's still muddy. We haven't cleared it up in any way, shape, or form.
Yep, then that sucks.
Totally.
There's a lot in media in Edmonton, and it's multiple people, I will say, that they like taking their shots at Trey Ford. I don't know what Trey Ford has ever done to these people, but it's Trey isn't a cancer in the locker room. He's not this terrible teammate. Trey's been a solid teammate, and I fully appreciate his wanting at the early part of the season not to be viewed as a gimmicky quarterback and used as like a wide receiver or a gimmick. And I know that didn't make Chris Jones happy, and he threw Trey Ford under the bus by coming public with that. And now people are rehashing that and throwing that out there. Once you start being used as a gimmicky quarterback, you never shake that off you, and that's all you are. You know, like
Stravler, Taysom Hill.
Stravler, Jordan Lynch. Jordan Lynch was
Lynch.
never getting a shot as being a starting quarterback in this league because he became a gimmicky, just running quarterback.
He's doing what he did what Pro Cup does now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like, once you start doing that, once you become Kai Loxley and start lining up as wide receiver, you're never getting the shot as a starting quarterback. So when you're 26 years old, it's fair to be like, hey, no, I'm a backup quarterback. Treat me like a backup quarterback. Use me as you would any other backup quarterback. You want to throw me into the game? Throw me in as a quarterback. Don't throw me as some gimmick or sideshow.
Right.
But, you know, clearly there's people that are connected with Chris Jones and his staff. And naturally, you know, there's going to be the people that, you know, on this staff, they're going to hear from them and go, well, Trey's not the best. Well, why are we listening to what this staff thinks? Because what have they done? Look at the track record of the Chris Jones and his staff of the last 3 seasons. We're going to listen to them when it comes to player.
They've won 13 games.
Well,
And how many of those were then led by Trey Ford in the end, right? Like, we're going to listen to the defensive coaches and the members of Chris Jones's staff who got fired here as to be like, well, this is why he didn't play. Cool. Why? There's a reason Chris Jones ain't here anymore, and there's a reason a lot of these coaching staff shouldn't be here anymore.
Interesting with Chris Jones is this is something we talked about a lot in the Hangout is, you know, he's gone to Hamilton and turned their defense around.
He's a great defensive mind.
Yeah.
Because he is able to focus on being a defensive coordinator, where he had so many hats here because of, you know, some salary cap reasons within the administration salary cap
And
reasons.
that needs to be reminded to some people is the Elks were in such a
bad
poor
spot.
position
And that
coaching cap wise.
he had to be the GM
Yeah.
and the defensive coordinator and the director. He had to do all of these things, and so he didn't have the time to properly coach the defense. And so, I mean, in a way, he was given a little bit of a bad he was in a bad situation that because of that salary
Yes.
cap, he couldn't bring in the people to help him. I mean, not that I'm justifying. I mean, I wanted him gone just like everybody else did. But
No, but the coaching cap is awful.
yeah,
They need, yes, it's
I will throw this out there too. Like,
it needs to go away.
okay, let's say the Edmonton Elks move on from Jarius Jackson.
yeah.
Who are the key top contenders to be the next head coach in this league besides the retreads? And I think one of the things that hurts the coaching cap is that we don't have enough coaches now. Like, they have to. There's only so much money now that they could spend, so they only could have so many coaches, and guys have to wear multiple hats. So we don't have more coaches being developed who could eventually become great OCs or DCs, and then those guys can become head coaches. Buck Pierce is the guy. That's
Pierce,
kind of it.
So, and Buck
Coaching
Pierce,
cap needs to go.
if you keep our current GM, he has a relationship with Buck Pierce.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So,
But is
that-
Buck
that's-
Pierce the guy that you want?
Well, yeah, I don't think he'd be a bad choice.
I think he'd be ready by now. Look, nobody thought Dinwiddie would be a good Grey Cup winning coach,
not.
and sure enough, he was.
You know, a guy I've always he was kind of who I wanted to come here a number of years ago on Calgary's coach staff, Mark
Killam, yeah.
So, did his name come up on the post?
His name came up. We talked about it.
at the Hangout.
we were
on
talking about
Friday.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where it was.
Yeah, we were talking about Mark Killam, but you made a point. Like, he's been passed over a bunch of times, and I think that's what you mentioned.
Yeah. He's one of those coaches, and it was Richie Hall, and I've seen this from other coaches who constantly their names out there but never get the job. Greg Marshall was another one of those guys. And then when they get the job, there's a reason. You see reason why they weren't head coaches.
Yeah.
Now, the flip side I threw out to that one was, who was the one that I threw out there? Bob Dice. Bob Dice in Ottawa. He was one of those guys, and now he's a head coach and doing rather well. But I just worry about Mark Killam, that special teams coordinator for so long, has been interviewed, has been approached, but has never gotten the job.
Yeah.
And also, is he now just the next guy
In
when
Calgary?
Dave goes?
Yeah.
Because
That
he's
could be
GM
the
head
case.
coach, and who knows how much longer Dave's going to do the head coaching part, where then he's going to do I'll just become GM, and then Mark Killam takes over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's something that's on the radar there. And I mean, especially with their season, they probably might do some tinkering in Calgary and make that, maybe that could happen this year.
Well, they'll be looking for a QB, I
Yep.
would think. I don't think you could go fully with Jake Mayer again next year. Edmonton has to figure out their QB situation. Hamilton might have to figure out their QB situation. Can you go with Bo another year?
What
He's
an
having a great
interesting-
year.
Yeah, but he got benched and he was leading the league in quarterback stats, and then they had to go back to him. And look what he's done.
And he was in the MOP conversation up
I
until
know.
probably this week. Like
I know.
this loss probably ends it for him.
Yeah.
So if you're Hamilton, do you sit there and be like, you want to know something? Let's bring this guy back.
Bring
for
him
another-
back.
Probably.
We had a text
Then
saying
there's only the two teams that need a quarterback, really.
So where's Trey
Maybe.
Ford going?
And where's VA going?
right.
Calgary.
This text says Alouettes backup QB Davis Alexander looked pretty promising while Fajardo was injured.
And someone on the postgame show said he's a free agent after this year. But I would be a little surprised if Montreal lets him walk. I could see maybe a
Try to hang on.
2-year extension. Be like, hey, stick around here.
Let's see how it goes with Cody.
And let's see how, and they'll make a decision. They'll try to kick the can down the road and be like, we'll trade Cody in a couple of years, or we will trade you in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's a good team over there.
Yeah, it is. The Winnipeg Montreal Grey Cup, I think, is pretty much locked in my mind, but be a good matchup.
Crazy things have happened.
Yeah, stranger things have happened for sure.
It's going to be a wild offseason for the Edmonton Elks. I will say, though, it's great that, for Larry Thompson, it is, you have the ability to do as clean as change whatever you want almost.
Yeah.
President will change.
GM and head
could
coach
ju-
are not under contract for next year, so that salary cap thing we were just talking about, I mean, it's a wash right now.
Well, also on that,
it is clean.
you could, Chris Jones will be on the books until July of next year.
Right. So you're not hampered that much.
But then also, you ultimately, even the quarterback, you could do whatever the hell you want with quarterback. Mm-hmm. You could go with Trey. You could go with MBT. You could go with VA. You could go that's a blank slate. That is a completely cleared thing, which is very important for the direction of a franchise. Larry Thompson bought a team almost. It's as close to an expansion team as you can.
Yeah.
With how much he gets to just change if he really wants to.
He's in the position that it's all there to change it as he sees. And so it starts with the president. So they're saying it's close. What do you guys hear in there?
Nothing. Have you heard anything?
Just one name. But it's
Dave Jamieson.
Damo, yeah. He'd be a good choice. But the only name I'm hearing is the name that's out there each and every time.
Sean?
If
that name's out there, then there should be no other option.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
So
right the wrong from 2012 or whatever it was when Len Thompson was hired over Sean Fleming. Right that wrong.
Yeah. Len Rhodes,
sorry. Yeah. Who did I say?
Len Thompson. You
mixed
Larry and Len together.
So, but I mean, the thing with Flem has always been the pay cut that he'd have to take, because he does pretty well for himself. But this is a different era, and Larry Thompson he's throwing money like crazy to make the fan experience better.
And it is better, I have to say.
I agree.
Is it? Has there been that noticeable change?
It's very noticeable.
There is optimism. There's a spark in that stadium now.
But in terms of the presentation.
Yeah. It's fireworks after the game, the fireworks when the players come out and things like that.
The new tunnel.
Yeah, that's the one thing he's done. This is what everyone that I know in the organization, because I ask the questions all the time. I mean, what's he doing? What's going on? And literally nothing, except for throwing money in the in-game experience to make it more enjoyable for the fans. So
I will say, I know it was boosted by Saskatchewan fans, but there was a good vibe on Saturday.
It was a good crowd. I was impressed by it.
24 something.
Yeah,
I think was the attendance.
Is that what the announcement was?
And ultimately, it's a loss. But the Elks hung in there. They were back and forth. It was exciting. It was a fun game to go to, and it was a fun game to watch.
It'll really be interesting to see how many are at the Toronto game when nothing matters and whatnot. The weather will probably be a little cooler and stuff, but. I don't know, but I mean, if it's Flem, I mean, that would be a knock it out of the park home run hire, obviously.
From what I know from the past few times that his name was interested, he's okay with taking that job. The pay cut wasn't it wasn't holding him. He wanted those jobs. The reason he didn't get it against Len Rhodes was he told the board they made a mistake with Eric Tillman. He was going to fire Eric Tillman. And the board didn't like that at the time. Well. He's been passed multiple times, but I do also remember hearing at one point, I don't know if it's the Victor Cui one or if it was later after Victor Cui, because we've been with Rick Wallisher in a time period where he was tired of throwing his name in the ring and not getting it, that it was a point of they would have to move forward, approach him and go there. But right off the bat, you got a guy who has done amazing things in business.
Yeah.
So from a business, he could do both jobs. He could sit there and run the business ops because he knows how to run business.
Yeah.
But he also knows football.
Yeah.
And I know this name was, I think it was, I don't know, was it brought up at the Larry Thompson press conference when we were doing that day about Ed Hervey's name?
Yeah.
Is being linked also back. It would make a lot of sense with Sean too, though, because from what I know, Ed Hervey, of the few people he outright respects.
The few people,
that he outright if they look at him and say Ed with a stern voice, he will listen. Sean's one of those. He fully respects Sean Fleming.
Now he's GM of the Ticats right now. We got to keep in mind all of that.
But you could bring him in as president of football ops and GM as a promotion. Sean Fleming could come in as president and CEO of the Edmonton Elks Football Club, not football ops, but president of the club, but he's really in charge of football.
Right.
And in the CFL, you just need to get the promotion. Mm-hmm. And there's your promotion, and could you bring Ed back? Would he bring Ed back? Does he want to bring Ed back? Mm-hmm. But that makes sense to me of hearing Ed's name from back at that day would be if Sean comes in, it does make sense. Hey, when Chris Jones got hired, I think I was in favor of the Chris Jones hire. They were in a jam.
Yeah. That's what we have to remind 100%. Ourselves. They were in a bad spot with the coach Cap.
The other thing people wanted was a Sean Fleming and Hervey duo coming in. And again, you could go that way when it comes to the Edmonton Elks.
And you look
a lot of people would be excited about that.
You look at Larry Thompson and who he is and what he's a fan and has been for a long time and whatnot. So the link to making some of these decisions and bringing Flem here and maybe Hervey. And I'm going to throw a name out there. We were just talking about coach. And how about Jason Moss back here?
I don't know how you could do that.
Yeah, but I don't think
it's.
I know he lives here still.
Exactly.
But.
You don't think Jason Moss would like to coach the Edmonton Eskimos again?
Yes, but I think like he's got a good thing going in.
I don't know how Montreal, how he, like, again, to leave, unless his contract's up and he's a free agent coach at the end of this year, he would need a promotion. That's the only, because I remember, and the reason, because when Chris Jones left Calgary to join Scott Milanovic in Toronto to be his defensive coordinator, Hoff got really mad because it was like a lateral move, and the CFL had this rule in place where you can't make lateral moves, you have to have a promotion. Yeah. So Jason Moss would have to have a promotion with the head coaching, so he'd have to have another role. So assistant it would have to be assistant GM or something like that. But I don't know. From what I know, I believe him and Danny Machoch have a great relationship.
And they like the owner
back here.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would leave what you have going there to come back here.
I talked to him. Sorry, Maria. I was just gonna say I talked to him before the game when Montreal was here. I worked that one, and he was in a good space. Like he's on Bozone Live. That's why I have gotten to know him, and he was very, very content, and I could tell because he's a guy that doesn't hide anger and frustration very well.
He's getting better at it though.
Yeah,
but go back to what we're talking about. Sean Fleming is the president. Larry Thompson is the owner. This would be an amazing situation to be in that space. His family is here. I mean, for family reasons, he's not a Montreal guy. That's not who he is. He's an Alberta guy. His family's here. He would love to come back here and coach here again in that type of situation, working with Flem and Larry Thompson.
He got extended in December though. He got extended December through the 2026 season. Yeah. So he has 2 more seasons signed there. So that's the tough part.
Yeah. Here's another name for president. Sean Fleming to me makes a lot of sense. I see him downtown. Like he's a green and gold through and through, obviously. Paul Graham.
Don't know who that is.
Paul Graham
he ran
TSN.
His name has been rumored a lot for the president's job.
I think they talked to him before Victor Cui too.
He's been discussed. He was one that actually I would have had to take a pay cut too, I believe, to take those jobs. Yeah. That's one of the reasons he didn't kind of get it. He has just retired from TSN. I don't know if he's retired now or if retiring at the end of the year. I can't remember how that works, but he's done with TSN. Not Cole Gang member for when he was a kid. Like from this area. Yeah. He'd be a name that would be brought up. The other thing I wouldn't be shocked is like Larry Thompson has been in business for how many years locally? He knows business people.
That's true.
Wouldn't be surprised if there's a name that none of us know who the person is, but he brings in a business guy who knows the team, like loves the team himself. Like he's like Larry, is a big fan of the team, but is just a businessman. And that person then comes in to run the business and hire a football guy to run things that way. Like that, I'm not saying I've heard anything on that, but I wouldn't be shocked by something like that, a name that we'd have no idea who this person is. But Larry knows a lot of business people in the local area. Like, wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden he knows that one guy that he's like, this guy's going to fix the business side of the Elks, and he's going to trust someone to fix the football side of things.
Yeah.
Possible.
I hope it's Sean, though.
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense. Or the other one, Rod Connop.
Oh, yeah.
Alum.
Yeah. Business guy.
Business guy, too. Big business guy, too. And very successful at it.
Someone brought that up. Was it you that brought that up last week, too?
Yeah, because I've known, not connected, so I've heard his name is just big in business and stuff. Okay. And I think he does a lot with the alumni right now. And then that alumni cares.
Yeah,
like they absolutely do care. Which is great. It's just... They need that president. To me, the president's bigger than the owner almost right now. Larry comes in, he buys his team, he's going to pick a president, he's going to tell the president what his vision is. Yeah. But the president has to execute all that. Mm-hmm. Sure. The president's going to be the person dealing with the day-to-day. The president's the person that we're going to hear from all the time. I just want to know who that one is.
President's got the team. His job will be to get the team back in the black.
Yes. Lucas in the Parish Rules inbox 780-218-9999. I fully agree with this. He says voice to text sucks, so I'll try to read this by understanding it as well. I believe the coaches right now were also playing for their jobs, and maybe they did not believe they have time to let trade develop, so he'll be great 3 years down the line if they lose their jobs for losing this year. Just my thoughts. I don't know if he's talking about this current why Jarius went to trade this week.
I think that's what Lucas
this
means.
season, Chris Jones needed for the season. And that's what I said with Jarius starting MBT. I feel like I think you put it on Friday, just the safe option.
Yep.
You're trying to, you're trying to one, earn this job, but if not, build your resume for another job to be like, I can be a head coach in this league.
Absolutely.
Look what I did. So to me, like I know there's a lot of people that want to trade forward this past weekend. I understand why Jarius didn't. And if it's not coming from higher up, like he's not tied to next year.
No.
It's not up to him to fully develop Trey for next year. If you want him to develop Trey for next year, give him the job. You know, he could have gone to him a couple weeks ago and said, here's the job, but also Trey's our guy for next year. Like that changes how he might perceive things. Yeah. As for the start of the season with Chris Jones, I do stand by. If he had gone with Trey Ford and this season was the record it was, he might still be here with his job.
Perhaps.
But you go with MBT, you're saying I need to win now. And when you don't win, when you say we're going to win now, you're going to lose your job more.
Well, you can't start 0-7.
No. But I think you could have gotten away with that a little bit with Trey Ford because the fans, I don't think could have been. Now, there's a lot of fans that would have been upset with an 0-7 start, but they wanted Trey Ford. I wanted Trey Ford.
I wanted Trey Ford.
And if you go with that and all of a sudden he doesn't pan out,
you're off the hook a little bit.
You're off the hook a little bit because it was, well, we all thought that.
Yeah.
And you went to try to develop Trey Ford and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And people then could have sit there and be like, well, go find a quarterback. And you might have been able to salvage that.
Yeah.
But when you go with MBT and you go, we're not going to develop this guy because we have to win now, and then you don't win now, you risk losing your job sooner. I think it actually, and I said that back in February. I felt that it was a mistake. Like there's more pressure to win now with MBT that they could have had. How I worded it was they could have went 9-10 wins with MBT. People would have loved it. But if you won with Trey Ford at 6-7 wins, you would have still kept your job because people were like, well, you're developing Trey Ford. Mm-hmm. We're seeing improvement with Trey Ford.
Man, yeah, hindsight's 20/20, but I tell you what, they wouldn't have been 0-7 if they were starting Trey Ford in the beginning. He would have found a way to get a couple of those wins that
the ones that they just lost
to pull off. So I don't know.
I can also rant quickly about the CFL.
Oh, you rant away. We like it.
Well, it's a small one, and you'll hear from me say this a lot. I said on the post-game show for anyone that tuned in. We're talking about 2025 for the Elks. Yet the CFL does not make public who the Elks free agents are and who other teams' free agents are. How great would it be having a discussion, be like, this guy's a free agent, this guy's a free agent, this guy should stay, this guy should be let go. They should go after this guy and this guy, this guy. That doesn't come out till December. And that should just be made available earlier so we could all have Calgary's out, Edmonton's out, Hamilton's soon to be out.
Yeah.
In those markets, people want to talk about the future, and we can't have a fully educated conversation on that because we don't get, just at the very least, how long people are signed for. Give us the minimum, just a cap friendly of the CFL of this player signed till here, this player signed till there, so we know. I don't know why that would be a big deal. Let us know that sooner. At the start of the year, say, these are the pending free agents for this upcoming season. Update it throughout the year or something.
Yeah.
Let us have these more educated conversations on the offseason before the offseason comes.
Yeah.
It makes no sense that the CFL always gets in their way in things like this.
Didn't someone try to create that? I feel like it was like a 3-down nation type of thing, like 5-6 years ago. And
they did.
And it didn't, it just fizzled away, didn't it?
One time I tried doing my own Elks one.
Okay.
And I went and I Googled every single player in extension or signs with Elks because you get the number of years.
Yeah.
But you have to do that for every single player, and you have to constantly be looking at that, and it can be done. But I don't know how long Justin Rankin signed for. The only press release I've seen is he was signed to the practice roster.
Right.
MBT is a 1-year deal.
Right.
Boris Beatty was a 2-year deal.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But it would be great to just have a more informed discussion on those type of things.
And I would like to see the teams, and is starting to see it a little bit, get signing guys 2, 3, 4 years so we can actually know who's on our football team and embrace them.
Yep.
It's you look back in the heydays and we talk about a Fleming. How many years did Sean Fleming play here? How many years
14.
did Jason Moss play here? How many years did Mike Riley play here? I mean, back in the day, Ryan King and all these guys, they played on the team for years and years and years and years and years, and they didn't bounce around from team to team, which happens so much since COVID, really.
Right.
So I'd like it to get a little more stability with all the teams and their rosters is something that I would like to see. And then take what you were saying a step further, the draft as well. Right now already in the NHL, we're already seeing articles coming out about who to be watching this year for who are going to be like the top 5, top 10 picks in the NHL draft. Is there any stars going to be like we've
Curtis
missed the
Rourke.
playoffs
That's
now?
what I was going to say. He's the only one
That's the only one I can think of.
who's doing amazing things in Indiana, I think he's
Yeah.
at. But he's going to be drafted in the NFL.
Yeah, so then he's off the table. So some of those things aren't necessarily known because of that too, but
That to me is where TSN, like I've always felt like,
dropping the ball a
have
little
it
bit.
each week on Friday nights or whatever. Have a segment on here's the latest of what's happening with the top draft picks
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But the problem is for the Elks. Now, he had a great game this past weekend, Mathis, the receiver. The Elks don't have a first-round pick this year
How did we get rid of that?
because it was a supplemental draft. They gave up a first-round pick to take this Mathis receiver, who's a massive, like 6'7",
He's a giant,
giant. And this weekend he was really good. But the one thing the Elks probably didn't need right now was another receiver. But they used up a first-round pick in a supplemental draft to get him. So in effect, they used their first-round pick. They've already made their pick for next year.
Yeah.
So they won't have a first-round pick this upcoming season.
And so the guy we got this year, Joel Dublanko or whatever.
Oh, DeBlanco, yeah.
Like his
Special teams
yeah,
mostly. He
special
got,
team,
I think when Niles Morgan got nicked up, DeBlanco went in
a little bit.
briefly. I can't remember what game that was, but yeah.
He was drafted to start.
So we were told.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. So did we pick the wrong guy, or was he?
Who was it? I forgot which player. Somebody came in camp and just looked really good by all accounts.
Nick Anderson?
Maybe.
Nick
I just don't know if
Anderson
it
might
was.
be
I
the
don't know
rookie
if
of
the
the year.
Blanco was on that side.
Nick Anderson.
But maybe it was.
Did he not just get suspended?
Nick Anderson? I didn't see that.
I didn't see any
saw
suspension in the
that
CFL.
Yesterday, I think I saw that.
I'd have to go look. Also, I will like
will
Chris
have-
Jones. The one thing, actually, this is surprising. If we look back, hindsight 2020 for this year, we thought he was a guy that knows to find defensive players. Didn't find players on the D line. Traded away Seresna. Didn't sign AC Leonard.
Right.
Because he's going to go find defensive linemen. D line, I think, has been one of the flaws of the Elks defense this season.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it coming up here real quick.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Well, in the end, Shotgun Sports Network, that's Scout from the Elks herd who put on the chili cook-off clickbait article. It was spam.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So-
a good thing then.
Yeah. Nick Anderson has been great. Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Should be in contention.
Canada,
for that.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Brady versus Milligan for the West nominee for MOP, how that plays out. Brady's really starting to pick it up these last couple of weeks. But Milligan has just done something that no one has ever really led defensive. I don't think anyone's ever led defensive and special teams tackles. And he's doing that right
Yep.
now. He's leading interceptions. He's been all over the place. If there's a year for a defender to be an MOP, this should probably be the year. But I don't know if the voters will do that.
We'll see.
Well, do you get a vote?
I do not. I've never gotten a vote.
You should. How do you get that? I
have no idea.
Dusty
You
get a
have to-
vote?
You
I
have
think Dusty does. Dusty
Isn't
does
it the
vote in the
Canadian-
top 50 for sure. I've been in the Football Reporters of Canada, and I've never gotten anything to vote with.
Well, I think the Football Reporters of Canada might need to restock its numbers because it's been a dwindling.
You just have to go every Grey Cup Sunday, and you can sign up for a membership.
Yeah.
They have their breakfast. They
2026.
what, you're going to go in 2026?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
When's Edmonton getting another Grey Cup?
26 is the rumors. Oh, it's Edmonton
That's the
versus
rumor?
Calgary in 26.
Yeah.
Is it? Well,
Those are the two bids.
You can't
they
even.
can't go to Calgary in that stadium.
In that stadium, if you compare how these two cities were, Edmonton was great in 18.
It was phenomenal.
We were there in 19.
Yes.
Grey Cup Festival was great.
Yes.
The moment you walked away from Grey Cup Festival, you didn't even know there was a Grey Cup in town. Because I remember being there Saturday morning. I think it was Dusty, Eric, and I. We walked for a bite. We walked down 17th, and we're just looking around like you couldn't even tell that the Grey Cup was here. Like,
Downtown
no.
was dead.
Yeah.
In Calgary.
So from that perspective, it should be Edmonton. And also, Larry Thompson just bought this team, and we've seen the CFL
Yeah.
in the past go to the new
support,
owner and
yeah.
go, "Here's your Grey Cup."
Yeah.
So I don't think you could give it to Calgary until they do something with their stadium,
Yes.
or at least announce that they're doing something with the stadium.
Right.
Like give them 2 if you want in 6 years or something. But if they come out and say we're building this stadium here, give them a great come. Be like, awesome, you've made something done with the stadium. Here's one. When you open it up after a couple of years, we'll give you another.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like it. Matty Iwanyk for commissioner, even though he's retired from being a commissioner. But
I have a lot of things to fix the CFL. Fix the CFL. I think I'll come out of commish for that one.
all right,
Add CFL season-long fantasy.
You're taking over for Randy, hey?
yeah, you'd be a good pick.
I think I
You get
could
my
do
vote.
it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I could do some of it. I couldn't get you new owners. I don't think I could do all the math, the behind the scenes of
Moving and shaking.
figuring all that stuff.
Just surround yourself with the right people that can do that, bud.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzla with you. Well, speaking of business, you know that they're doing something to the Shanks building.
What?
I don't know, but our dream
gym,
of
apparently.
EST, is that what it is?
That's what I've heard.
What did you hear?
A gym.
Oh, for crying out
So
loud.
the dream of the Shanks presented by EST.
See, I told you months ago we needed to get on that.
An
We
EST
got to get
experience.
things up and going. No. Opportunity was there, and you blew it.
We just needed a few $1 million.
Well, don't worry.
No.
The gym's
no,
gonna, the
you
gym's
did not
gonna
need
fail.
a few $1 million.
The gym will fail, and we'll take it over then.
Yeah, except I'm not even going to listen to you next time. I'm just gonna go do it and start it and say, listen, studios are moving over here now. When's your lease up here? Because it's happening. Studios are moving.
I think we have another year, don't we?
We're in our final year here.
Yeah.
And we're in our final year here, but yeah, we'll have to start.
This is a
figuring out
good
things.
spot, though. I mean, this
It's worked
is,
out very well.
This is definitely a good spot.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout are brought to you, well, not portions, the official drink of Edmonton Sports, not the portions, the official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink legend of 1952. A drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrink.com/Canada is where you can enter your postal code and find which liquor stores in Edmonton have recently stocked it. The box is in front, which you can kind of see the bottom one. You can see the top one on YouTube. You've got the sugar-free at the top. You got the sugar one on the bottom. Both absolutely delicious, amazing. Once you try one, you will want to go through your six-pack rather quickly.
So let's talk about the sponsorship opportunities from the Finnish Lawn Drink and how much more money they would support EST shows if
We
you
had it
were
on tap.
selling their product
We had it on tap.
at the
It's a great idea.
EST pub.
This is why you run business, Murray.
This is why
Unbelievable.
Murray has excelled in business and
Like,
golf.
It's
And now radio.
that's why you do not need $2 million.
I didn't
the
know.
money that's just going to pour in from doing this. How many nasties are there? How many nasties are out there? You
lot.
have an automatic following of customers that are going to be there all of the time. The shows are there. Oh man, it is the biggest no-brainer in the history of time. And you said no. And now the
We didn't
building's-
say no.
You said, "Oh wait, no."
It's
we're
down the road. And trust me, this gym, eventually they'll move for us.
So annoying that happened.
Come in.
I'm annoyed with you, Mr. Iwanyk.
That's fine. Here, join the list. There's a long line
That's
of
a long
people there,
list.
Murray. Grab a number. I'll get to you in time.
Yeah.
I'll get to you at some point before I get to the shank. So one of those will happen at that point. We'll get to our EST Flyway to LA Keyword presented by the 780 in a few minutes here. I do want to remind you, speaking of Lucas who texted in, he's part of Whale and the Wolf and Get Fest coming up October 19th at Midway Music Hall. Proceeds from that show go to the Ben Stelter Foundation, Alberta Cancer Foundation. Get your tickets, getfest.ca. It's an annual show that's been held in Calgary for the last few years, dated around the passing of Gord Downey. The show is built in honor of Gord Downey, the late great frontman of the Tragically Hip. They've expanded to Edmonton. Whale and the Wolf, also Edmonton's premier Tragically Hip tribute band, Hypnotical. They'll all be taking place October 19th. Again, Midway Music Hall. Tickets, getfest.ca. And once again, proceeds of that show do go to the Ben Stelter Foundation and the Alberta Cancer Foundation. Midway's a nice spot to go watch a show, too.
Yes.
That's where Eric Zacticum and I went to go see Guar. I had not seen a concert there since they've gone to Midway, and it was really well done. I like the sound in there and stuff, so I'm sure it'll be a great show on the 19th. Go check it out.
I liked Midway when it was the Standard. That's how old that was, like 20 years ago. They had the nicest waitresses.
The Standard?
Yeah.
Where's
Beer
that?
It used to be Berry Teas.
Oh,
there was
yeah,
the
yeah,
Standard.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
it became
The Ranch?
the Ranch.
yeah.
Yeah. Now it's Midway.
Midway.
It's a cool building.
Yeah, it is.
It really is a neat setup.
a lot
be a
of
good show.
memories for all of us old fogies that used to
Yeah.
run around there.
I'm
Yeah.
in that category now.
Let's get to our EST.
You are.
Thanks.
Fly away to LA, a keyword, which is presented by the 780 homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. Lame ass, low budget local shop online at 780.com. That's the word 780.com, or you can check them out in store. 5 locations in and around the Edmonton area. Londonderry, the Outlet Mall by the airport, Southgate, St. Albert, as well as Kingsway. It's not just the name of the store, it is also their local clothing brand. They work with 100 local vendors from the local area to help promote and get their brands off the ground. So again, check them out, 780.com or in store. We want to send you to LA, December 26th to December 30th. You could see Clippers, Warriors, Intuit Dome, Cards, Rams at SoFi Stadium, and Edmonton taking on either Anaheim or Los Angeles. Flights, hotel, car, all included. We will get to the NFL because all of our teams had a nice weekend. But we want to send you to LA. The keyword for today to text in Kaminga. Kaminga. 780-218-9999. Jonathan Kaminga. He is a Golden State Warrior player. So you can watch Kaminga take on the Clippers. Kaminga, Kuminga, 780-218-9999. You'll go into the Paris Jewelers inbox, and Trevor will pick someone in the next few minutes. And we'll bring you on the air to say you have qualified for the chance to win this draw. So what I did is I needed I think it was 170 some words. There's a lot of words that you need. Wow. So at one point I started just grabbing players' names from all the teams that you could possibly go see. And then I took them all and I threw them in a randomizer. And everything's random. Yep. Except I think 3 days of all of our keywords, there's back-to-back words that are the same. One show has one word, the next show has the word that makes it make sense. But Kaminga, LA Clipper, or Golden State Warrior, who will be taking on
I
the
thought you were
Clippers.
just starting off the week on a spicy note.
Well, yeah, I
thought
Kaminga was going to be a spice you were going to suggest for me to put on my spaghetti with the butter and Parmesan cheese.
I would decline that one.
Kaminga.
Kaminga.
You know, you can delegate things like keywords. You know, get Zach to come on keywords.
Okay, what other keywords would you like? Like I probably have some of the keywords
Palm
most
tree.
people. Well, that's not a keyword. Palm tree is not a word, so I didn't do 2 words. I kept it to singular words. I think
Malibu.
I didn't do Malibu.
Yes.
I don't think.
That's a good one.
Beach might be in there one day. I'm pretty sure it is.
Sunshine.
Pretty sure that's in there at some point.
Mountains.
I did not have mountains. Although that's the one thing
You can
people
go skiing like an hour outside of LA.
Why? Especially when the smog went away during the pandemic and stuff. The mountain's actually really close.
I know.
Like, it's one thing
an
you
hour
don't think
away.
of LA is the mountains and stuff, and how close all those are. Texts are coming in. I forgot to plug in my headphones, so I'll have to go quickly plug that in right away here. But okay, which NFL team do you guys want to talk about first? The Cowboys' big win yesterday, late. The Ravens stealing a win against the Bengals, or the Cards come with a big win against the 49ers.
Wow.
Huge
win.
Huge
What
win.
is going on with the San Francisco 49ers?
I don't know. I saw so that game wasn't on TV. I didn't have it on, so I was just watching whatever was on TSN. And I'm like, the Cards are going to lose to San Fran anyway. That's okay. And then I noticed on the ticker that the ball, San Fran had the ball, and there was like 2 minutes left. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be trouble. And then sure enough, I see the update with the fumble and the recovery, and I was like, they did it. Those brilliant bastards did it.
Wow.
So
what's their record now, your Cardinals?
2-3.
2-3.
They're a plucky 2-3.
The same as the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, it's I was pleasantly surprised. And then now listen, that's a side note, right? I'm going to rub it in when Hernan gets here. I'm going to tell him how bad the 49ers are and how good the Cardinals are, even though we know that's not true. But that game yesterday, the Steelers-Cowboys game, the delay, and they were filling the air, and then they finally get it on, and how many people stayed to go watch the game through that thunderstorm?
It ended after midnight.
We were into, Mike Tirico was joking about, hey, it's Monday morning, and a great finish.
It was a
great finish too.
Yeah. It wasn't a very well played game.
No.
And Dallas completely decimated with injuries on both sides of the ball, especially on the defense. So I mean, their defense stood up. I mean,
2 pass rushers out. They're still good.
Well, three, and then four. And the fourth best pass rusher got hurt in the game.
Yep.
It's I mean, they resilient. There was a resilient win, but I mean, I wasn't that impressed with like Steelers had a good record. I don't think Steelers are that good. So, like early on in that game, the Cowboys were clearly the better team when they were decimated. They just were making mistakes, when they get in the red zone. Like, I was getting annoying and frustrating, but. They pull it off in the end, and still a tough road ahead as we're so banged up and got 3 or 4 more really tough games in a row. So I'm expecting, and that was kind of they can sneak out one more win and end up 4-5 around the 9-game mark. Then our schedule really softens up. Get a lot of these injured guys back, and we should go on a run in the second half and still sneak into the playoffs. But it's a tough start.
Are they a Super Bowl contender? I know that they were talking a little bit about. Jerry Jones always says that at the start of every year. But
I would say, unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
Potentially thought so at the beginning of the year, but
who's the best team out of the NFC?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I got to look because the 49ers were the team that we all would have went right off the start of the season.
They
This
stumbled.
is their conference.
Green Bay was a team that I might have thought about. A lot of people were talking the Eagles. I don't get the love for the Eagles when they had such a good start to the season and they completely imploded.
Yes.
Kept the same coach, didn't really do much in the offseason, and everyone had thought they were going to be a Super Bowl contender again. I'm like, well, what did they what did they do?
Right.
Like so there was a lot of love for Philadelphia, but I didn't get that love, partly because I'm a Cowboys fan, so I hate Philadelphia. But
Okay,
the Redskins are smoke and mirrors. They have to be because they're not that good.
You don't like Jaden Daniels?
Well, I mean, Jaden Daniels is obviously playing out of his mind, and good for him. But I mean, their roster. I mean, no prognosticator thought the Redskins were going to win any more than 4 or 5
Commanders.
games.
Commanders, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, the Vikings are 5-0. Do we believe the Vikings are a Super contender yet, even though they've started the season so great?
I'm starting to believe.
Okay,
Yeah, that division is great.
Yeah.
the Washington's 4-1.
Yeah.
They got a big game coming up this weekend. It's Ravens, Washington.
Yeah.
That's a big game.
The Ravens will smoke them.
Detroit 3-1.
I like Detroit.
Detroit was one of those teams that was near the top of the NFC
Yes.
coming into the season. They're
Detroit
kind of living up
comes
to that.
into Dallas this week, so I'm not thinking the Cowboys will win.
Then you got a whole bunch of teams at 3-2. Atlanta, Seattle, Tampa, Dallas, Green Bay, Chicago.
Seattle's smoke and mirrors. They're not.
I'm not yet. I'm not going to claim Atlanta as Super Bowl contenders just yet. Tampa, I'm not going to do that with. Chicago, I'm not going to do that with.
No.
Dallas, Green Bay, you're just off the edge. Like the NFC to me, as of right now,
Pretty open.
it's very open. It's opened up a little bit more than I would expect. Whereas I look at the AFC and I go,
Kansas City.
it's Kansas City right now.
Yeah.
Houston's looking very good. Baltimore's 3-2. Buffalo's 3-2. They're all going to be tough, but Kansas City's you have to give them the edge and stuff.
Yeah.
Baltimore, I don't know if anyone caught the Ravens.
I like
Bengals
Baltimore's
yesterday.
team. When they were 0-2 or whatever they were, when
I was
they came into Dallas, I
worried as hell.
I was so impressed with that football team, and yeah, very impressed.
Yesterday, Lamar fumbles in OT. Bengals miss a field goal, and then they go and the Ravens somehow steal that football. I still don't know how they did it.
Cincy is in a world of hurt.
1-4.
But look at
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's stats. Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind. Joe Burrow's stats are MVP-like, and they're 1-4.
Yeah. It ain't happening
Unbelievable.
there.
Considering I traded for him in my fantasy league, I'm very aware of his
Yeah,
stats.
you're very aware of his
It
stats. Like,
saved
that's-
me. It got me a nice
But
win
how
this
are they
week.
1-4 when your quarterback is playing that well? Doesn't make any sense.
And they only beat the Panthers. That's the only win they have right now.
Wow.
It is just the Panthers.
Yes.
We got a qualifier for the EST flyaway to Los Angeles. Oh, sorry. I thought you were just sitting there. I should have looked over. He's just got a...
Oh.
Are you connecting to...
Hello, Trevor.
Pro or to... you might have to actually click the button, the blue one. Okay. And are you going for Pro or 2?
Pro.
Okay, I might have to
Listen to
quickly
all
go
this
walk over there for a
technical talk.
second.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
1 second. I got
Trevor's figuring it out.
All right. Well done,
We'll
Trev.
get there right away. We're qualifying someone right away for the EST
Yes.
flyway to Los Angeles.
Kaminga.
Kaminga was the keyword. Josh Clausen did text me
What do you say?
and went, greatest keyword ever.
Wow.
So he
You know
was a
what?
big fan of it.
Okay. You're gonna
Are we
do that.
connected?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. We've got a qualifier for the EST flyway to Los Angeles. Who am I speaking with right now?
Cole and Ellerslie.
Colin Ellerslie. Congratulations. How are things? Have you been out golfing this past weekend or anything?
No, I had to insulate my garage this weekend.
Okay, well, congratulations. You're in the mix to get in the draw for a chance to go to LA. If you're the big winner, who are you taking with you to Los Angeles?
I got to take my my future wife.
Yes.
Wife has to be.
He said, yep, that's where he went with. And if you win, what would you be most excited for? Would it be going to the NFL game, NBA game, or going to check out Edmonton take on either LA or Anaheim?
Definitely the NFL game.
Perfect. Well,
One of those.
Well, congratulations, Cole. You're in the mix. Keep your phone on. November 29th during the morning show. If you are the winner, the boys will give you a call, let you know that you're off to Los Angeles.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. And that's Colin Ellerslie. He's our next qualifier for the EST Flyaway. Next chance to qualify coming up on EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager. And then one more chance today on The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Mill. Qualifying 4 times daily, Monday through Friday, and once on the weekends during Hello Hockey with Tommy and Sean Bell.
Yes, sir.
The EST Flyway to LA presented by the
Clausen
780.
texted in, reminds me, I have not been on the show since the Estes.
Right.
And Clausen and Zacticum rap blew me away. That was so entertaining. I can't believe it was only $10 to get in and watch that thing, because all that entertainment, all three
musical
acts were phenomenal, but that rap blew me away.
Have you heard the produced one? Because they've recorded it.
Yeah.
Did they? Oh
Yeah.
my
I'll
god!
have to
I
get
need
you
to
that.
hear
It's
this.
pretty good.
Yeah, blew me away. Who knew that Zach? I didn't know Zach had that in him. Holy!
That's
I mean,
Ice Cube to you.
Well,
Or Ice Cube.
I got to change his name. I can't call him Zacticum anymore.
No,
You'll have to get him rap on the golf show next year.
Yes,
He's got like
absolutely.
40 different names
I'll
now.
get Clausen back on, and they can throw down together again.
I heard that there might be a nice little thing you might be doing with Zach next year on the golf show. So
It's going to happen, yeah.
Okay,
Gonna
we'll
happen.
keep that locked in. The golf show coming back 2000. That'll be year 7.
Year 7, yeah.
All right.
Things
Love
just
it.
flying.
I know, life flies by, man.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout, they are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. If you're looking for any promotional products, Chelsea will take very good care of you, as she does with us here at Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as she does with Whale and the Wolf. And I know a number of our listeners and other clients have gone to the Hive, so go check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. This is the EST Hangout, live on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, Edmonton Sports Talk. Thanks to everyone for tuning in on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or watching on YouTube, or listening to the podcast. Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzla with you here. Only 2 days away from the Edmonton Oilers taken to the ice to look to defend their Western Conference title and potentially be Stanley Cup champions. Big roster moves yesterday. I think caught a lot of people off surprise, with Josh Brown being waived, probably being the big notable. Tommy, would you take away what we saw from the Oilers yesterday?
Okay, the Brown thing, I mean, in terms of performance and training camp and preseason, you would look at that, and I feel like a lot of people were like, yeah, well, he was not particularly good in training camp and the preseason. Underwhelming at best. I like the way Reed described it in a nice, polite way, regardless of contract. So it kind of tells you still have to earn a spot sometimes in the NHL, and he didn't. And Travis Dermott being there, I think, is telling of where this defense is at. I'm sure we'll see Josh Brown at some point this season. Again, I don't understand the 3-year contract, but they can bury it, and so they're going to do that for now. Ty Emberson, on another note, I thought was one of the few okay spots on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, like you didn't notice him, and I think that was for good reason. I think his defense partner wasn't particularly good. Darnell Nurse, I thought Nurse had a bad couple of games. Obviously, he's playing catch up, which is not good. He's going to need to dial it in. Yeah, the defense is a huge question mark, and I think a lot of people are concerned, and they should be. But we'll see starting Wednesday. And I'll just say this: Noah Philp, I think that was the right move to send him down. Great camp, honestly, great camp. And I think he has vaulted himself to first call-up, or one of the first call-ups. He's earned that, and good for him. But there's just guys that are veterans that are still ahead of him.
Don't overvaluate preseason performances. both good and
That's
bad.
fair.
Yeah,
I stand by that.
yeah. Well,
Everyone wanted Brandon Perlini. Look how great of a preseason he had. And
Ty Ratty, anyone?
Ty Ratty,
exactly.
Kyler Yamamoto in his first year had a great preseason. They kept him. He got the 9 games, and then at that point, through those 9 games, like, yeah, this guy can't do it in the NHL, and he got sent back to the Thunderbirds, I think it was.
Yep.
We've seen this time.
Chiefs.
Patrick Thorson, Chiefs, Spokane. Then sorry, and then there was the year Patrick Thorson, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's going to like 2008-ish.
Right. He had a great
2007.
preseason. Did nothing that season. Like preseason things, players play really well, but it's not the National Hockey League at regular season.
Right.
And there's a big difference. And that's what, good for Noah Philp for earning that. There's nothing wrong with being first call up. Injuries happen. Roster moves need to happen.
Correct.
See what he can do for that call up. But just because you have a good couple of games in preseason doesn't mean it translates to the regular season. There's a lot of examples we could point to of history of that did it in preseason, couldn't get it done in the regular season because it's different. The veterans, they're not giving it their all. Even on that Friday, they're not giving it their all because they know it doesn't matter. It's about health. That's their mentality largely, is get through this healthy so we could be ready for the regular season.
It was a great story, and he didn't play hockey last year at all. How do you go from not playing hockey at all, not from an injury because he didn't want to play hockey, to playing in the NHL and being an effective NHL player? I mean, that's a big jump and a lot to expect. And so, yeah, he's down the minors. But, I mean, what they're doing, 12 guys and 6, I mean, they're trying to accrue as much cap space as possible because of this potential tire fire that the defense is. They may have to make a move sooner than they want to eat up some salary cap space. So they're going as lean as possible. And I don't think they're saying they're going to give Dermott a contract, and maybe they will, but I think they're going to wait as long as possible until they actually need to put him in for performance reasons or health reasons. So they'll just hang on to him as a PTO, and not.
They can do that.
Yeah, they can do that. So they're just going to go as lean as possible, accrue as much cap space as possible, keep their fingers crossed for health, and hope that the defense doesn't cost them hockey games.
It's a softer opening schedule for the team.
Well, yeah, there's some
it's
winnable games in there.
Yeah.
Like this Winnipeg one is going to be a doozy.
Yep.
Winnipeg's a hell of a team.
But then you get Chicago, no offense.
Listen,
Chicago,
the
Calgary.
juggernaut Blackhawks are going to be here on Saturday night, baby.
You get the Blackhawks, you get the Flames.
Yeah,
back to back.
Pardon me, the juggernaut Blackhawks.
The only
Sorry,
reason
Brian.
I'd be worried about playing the Blackhawks early is often those teams they start off well.
Fair.
Do you
That's
think
fair.
they're ready for a jump yet?
Okay, look at where they've been the last 2 years. Of course they're ready for a jump.
But what's the jump? Like, are we talking playoffs? Or are we talking
no.
right? So
Listen,
the Oilers are a team we're talking about cup.
I know, of course.
That's where
of course it's a soft game in the schedule. But the Blackhawks are going to be tougher to play against. I mean, if you just look at their lineup, their lineup is substantially better than it's been. And so, a 20, 25-point jump for the Blackhawks is a significant jump.
Oh.
It still puts them out of the playoffs by 15 to 20 points. So that's probably about what my expectations will be. 74 points, maybe? Which is that's massive
respectable.
jump. That's a massive jump, but nowhere near making the playoffs.
Maybe they surprise.
Maybe. But
The
some of
NHL season is underway because we've had those European games.
TJ
Yeah.
Brody signed for my Hawks, so I don't know what the hell that is.
You guys still have Taylor Hall.
Yes.
Patty Maroon's there now.
Patty
Is there
Maroon,
hockey
yeah.
tomorrow?
There was supposed to be a
Hawks
game
play
today.
tomorrow.
There's 3 games tomorrow to
Hawks
start.
play in
Canceled.
Salt Lake City tomorrow,
Yeah, that's the opening of the season tomorrow, right?
except for the European games that are already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in North America, the season, the regular season kind of really gets going tomorrow, right?
yeah.
Today would have been a preseason game.
Yeah,
okay.
Hurricane Milton.
The second hurricane coming.
Yeah,
up.
so they had
be
to.
nasty.
Yeah, so they just canceled today's Preds Lightning game.
So Preds Kraken tomorrow, or Blues Kraken tomorrow's regular season.
Yes.
It starts at 2:30 our time, 1:30 Pacific.
Let's go.
Wow. What's
On a
going in
Tuesday.
the States that it's a.
Well, that's what I'm trying. It must. Well, the states just go, but that's a 1:30 game out in Seattle.
Is there a holiday?
So
in the
that's.
States tomorrow?
I don't think it'd be a Tuesday, would it?
No, there's
doesn't
no
make
holiday
sense.
in the States tomorrow.
I love it. Good job, NHL. Schedule things across the day.
Is it baseball related? No.
No, because you're still playing. They got 2:35 and 8 tomorrow, so they have a staggered going. So 2:30 should take you right till 5. 5 should go till about 7:30, so there'll be about a little bit of a time between
time is the
Blackhawks
Hawks Utah
and
game?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
You got another late one. That's bedtime for you.
I know. I probably
Night,
won't.
night,
I probably
Murray.
won't stay up and watch that one.
It's the first game on Salt Lake. You don't want to see how it looks in Salt Lake with the hockey club. I love that it just says hockey club. Blackhawks versus hockey club.
Oh man.
I love it.
Oh, so bad.
It looks great.
Just name them the Yeti already.
No,
Utah Hockey Club is better than Yeti. I don't like
who are you playing tonight? The hockey club. The arrogance. It's great. Everyone's a hockey club, but you get to be the only true hockey club.
Gross.
Well, all those soccer teams do it.
Yeah, that's soccer. It's a different sport. Their logo, I just love. I go back to when they unveiled the colors of their uniforms and their uniform. People are like, oh, great colors! Oh my, what a great combination. Then you see their uniforms, you're like, this is terrible. Their logo sucks.
It looks like the Kootenay Ice from years ago.
The colors are they're actually nice colors, but like the jersey and the logo are awful. And then the secondary logo is the shape of the state. It's a square. It's so fitting. It's boring like salt. It's like boring like Utah.
Well, yeah, I was
Utah's
gonna say,
beautiful. Southern Utah
is, it's not the most lively and exciting state.
It's
in the-
sleepy.
Yeah.
I gotta see this patch on the side.
It's awful. You'll be like, oh my God, that is terrible.
Show it to me when you get it up. I gotta see
It is a
too.
square with like,
I'm not seeing anything.
yeah,
I do have an inaugural season one there,
maybe that's it.
but they
Let's
actually
see.
did it pretty decently.
No, that's not the one.
Okay. I need to see this other one because I want to see a square, just a
It's
square.
like, what is this? I'm gonna look it up.
I'm a big fan of the Utah Hockey Club. I would love that. I
There
think
it is.
Washington should have stuck with that. Oh,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
outstanding.
Yeah,
That's great.
it just says Utah.
And you want to know how much money they paid somebody to do that?
Too much.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously bad.
It should have been the Washington football team. It should be the Edmonton Football Club. That's what it should be.
Does
A
it say
it's a temporary logo. It's
It's the tertiary logo, as they put it.
because even if you do come back with the hockey club, you're redoing this all.
Yeah, of course.
You're doing new jerseys. You're doing new logo.
Yeah.
This is all like, why put too much into this when you're still going to announce your team name?
I guarantee you they paid somebody 6 digits to come up with that garbage.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, there's no
they'll be the
question.
Yeti.
There's no
I think
question
so.
that was 100,000 minimum
That's a
to
shame.
get those logos.
that's a crime, actually.
Unless you're the company getting that.
Well, yeah. Hey, we got that contract.
It's better than the Alliance of Football, the XFL, and I do say I throw the PWHL in there, that they just went clearly to one marketing firm, and one marketing firm just designed everything.
Yeah.
They're all similar. They all like there's no character to it.
Yeah.
They're very cold to me.
Yeah, you need
Whereas I want them being designed by somebody different,
Right.
from the local area. Them picking someone different, and
Well,
like the Kraken, like it looked good. It was like you could do logos that look amazing, that aren't just done that look like EA Sports. Create a team. Here's generic team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you're picking from.
Right.
And that's what all those leagues that I've talked about look like.
I'm just going to take this opportunity because you teed it up so nicely that the Utah HC logos and name and word marks look like something that was designed locally in Salt Lake.
How much time you spent there?
Enough to get a sense of the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bars close at what? 9 p.m. 8. Yeah.
They go, oh, would you like a beer? We do have that, but we're going to need to go to the back in the kitchen where the taps are. Oh, you want another beer? Oh, you have to finish that. There's like a sip left. I'll finish it. And then they all have to finish it before you can have another round. It's crazy.
And
Anyway,
that's not a Tommy Gazzola hangout.
no, let's go.
Yeah.
I'll say
Let's
that, if there's one thing that the Oilers fans should be upset that the league saw Arizona leave to Utah, it's just travel.
Yeah.
They did go to Phoenix to go watch a hockey game, to go see the Oilers play, as opposed to going to Utah. I've heard lovely things about Salt Lake. I've heard it is nice, but it's not going to be Phoenix.
No, not.
It's not going to be Phoenix, and that's the one thing that hurts about the league not being in Arizona anymore, is the fact that for Oilers, Flames, Canucks, Jets fans, it was a nice home game.
Yes, it was.
You know,
in a Western Hockey League barn.
Yep. Unfortunately. Although the rink in Glendale was nice, just wrong location. Things had soured so bad. The battle between the city of Glendale and the Coyotes organization. Now, on Hello Hockey, Pagnotta came on and we joked about how at the Board of Governors, they were adamant that there was no discussion, no vote on future expansion. And Dave was like, yes, clearly, but the wheels are already in motion. And he said that the owner of the Suns has reached out to the NHL.
Oh, really?
And there's deep pockets, and there's a lot of rich people in Phoenix.
Because he came out and says he didn't want the team playing at the rink, his rink.
Yeah, well, they
and I
put
don't think
like
it could work there.
$250 million into the downtown arena that the Suns play at.
He's got pockets, though.
Yeah, so he would want a new arena, I think somewhere around Scottsdale, where you could revive the Coyotes. And
he's worth $10.1 billion.
Not bad.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, here it is, according to Wikipedia. It lists his net worth of $10.1 billion. When the Coyotes of the NHL suspended operations and relocated to Salt Lake, he announced his interest in reviving an NHL franchise in the Phoenix area.
Yes.
He'd have the money to do it,
Yep.
and he'd probably have the goodwill in the city to go get a new rink done.
Well,
if it wasn't done at the downtown rink.
And you know, people might be like, goodwill. Well, part of where Alex Morello's downfall was as Coyotes owner, he wasn't good at handling the local government officials, city officials, state officials. Certainly, like they basically didn't want him to win that land auction.
What was he good at?
Hotels.
Yeah.
He was good at making money in the end.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
walked away with, I think we did the math here once on the Hangout, like $400 million after loans and all that.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Is the whole deal? He's plus 400 in the end.
Yeah.
So that's
he did something right.
and,
Pissed everybody off along the way, but he's rich.
I'll take
He
that.
is.
I'd piss people off for free. I would love to piss people off and have 400 million and go away.
You make a good habit of it, though, according to your earlier discussions.
Yeah, but I'd gladly go away for 400 mil. I'll go away for 4 mil.
Where would you go? Arizona.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
I
Just
could go live in Phoenix.
that retired lifestyle. It's very comfortable.
I wouldn't want to be in a full gated community just yet. I got a good 10 years before I move into that with the golf cart, but
They are quite comfortable, I have to say.
the golf carts?
The golf cart gated communities.
You spend a Christmas there.
I spent Christmas and a bunch of time down there. It was quite pleasurable.
You got a few years to go to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We'll work at it.
Hockey season, it's here. I'm not ready, won't lie, but it is
Yeah,
here.
ready. How about talk about preseason? How about Puajärvi lighting it up in Pittsburgh?
I think Matthew Iwanyk said it minutes ago. Don't read too much
I
into the
know.
preseason.
Yeah, but they're touting him up about how good he is, and
I hope so.
Me too.
For him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if he can find his game and become a steady NHLer, good for him.
Yeah.
But that was a nice goal he scored on the breakaway.
Yeah. And the other one there that were saying that Rutger McGrody was probably not going to make the NHL because of defensive liabilities, but then he got a 3-point night, and it's like, maybe Rutger McGrody is going to play in the NHL right now.
What an interesting case that one was.
I know. If the walls could talk, it'd be interesting to know what that was all about.
Yeah.
I could have used another like 3 weeks for hockey.
You're not ready?
Not a chance.
I'm ready.
Not a
Let's
chance.
go. Wednesday
Why
night.
is he not ready? Because the Oilers went
It
so
was
long.
so long.
'Cause it was
Didn't have
such
enough
a
of a
short
break.
offseason?
Just didn't have enough of a break. I could, and and people get mad at me when I said the regular season doesn't matter for the Oilers this season. Like they're in the playoffs. Let's get to the playoffs and let me judge this team based off plays. Like even it's one of those things. The opening day roster or opening game roster for the playoffs of the Oilers is going to be rather different from opening day roster of the Oilers this Wednesday. That
Valid.
even
On the
like
back
from
end, for
now
sure, yeah.
until March 1st, it doesn't matter because it's like March 1st is the team I'm going to judge for the playoffs because Evander Kane, what is he going to be with this Oilers when he's back, if
What a
back
great
type thing?
question. Right.
What are the trades the Edmonton Oilers are going to make to improve this team both on the back end and just overall? There's going to be this is a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. There's going to be some other moves that are going to happen at the deadline to just add depth or whatever it is. That's the team I want to judge. The team right now, I don't care that much because they're going to be in the playoffs in April, and I'll judge the team that is a playoff team come March.
Well, let's just hope that they get off to a better start, even with this decor, and Tommy G's not having a rant saying the Oilers are the worst team in the NHL.
I won an SD for that.
They were.
I'd proudly display it in my home studio, but they were so bad.
Yes.
That piss poor 3-2 loss at the SAP Center. They were the worst team that day in the National Hockey League. Statistically, well, technically they were tied with the Sharks that day, but they had just played so bad against San Jose. I don't think it gets to that point.
I'm very concerned about their decor right now.
That's completely understandable.
Now,
And I think a lot of people are with you.
Knock on wood that they're going to be able to outscore their issues.
Yeah.
And they should be able to, because they're up front, they're loaded. So they should be able to outscore their defensive problems. But I remember listening to some of your post-game shows last year and just talking about the tire fire on the back end. And it's going to be a tire fire on the back end.
It will be. And there's going to be deficiencies there. Now, how do they defend? What kind of support do they get from the forwards? Mm-hmm. That was a big issue early last year. Remember the system and the tweak and this and that, and they couldn't figure it out. Information
Which
overload.
wasn't rocket science.
No.
A box plus one, pretty basic.
Valid. And then the other thing, they couldn't get saves. So if they get a few saves, and if they have good team defense, then maybe that can patch up what is a suspect defense core.
Well, and you look at this and how this will play itself out. This is Stuart Skinner's first year coming in as the true blue number one goalie.
Yes.
Everyone knows it. He knows it. And, so knock on wood, he'll get off to a better start, knowing where he is. And
And a guy coming in knowing he's the backup.
Yeah.
And he's going to get game times, but he's there to go
when needed.
Relieve Stuart Skinner, allow him to have his rest, go in and give the others just solid play to help them win those games when Stuart's not going up.
No ambiguity.
And not knowing and now look, naturally he's going to hope that, hey, I can show that one day I'm a starter to me. You have that, you need that mentality as a competitor type thing, but also knowing no, it's Stuart's team, right?
Yeah. Well, and to be fair though, if you got a tire fire in front of you, some pucks are going to go in the net.
Team defense, and you get that extra save that they weren't getting early last year.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this? This comes in from Coach Mike via the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. A screenshot as you get set for your upcoming Oilers season as a fan. Would you purchase an authentic pro jersey for the low price of $629.99?
Not a chance.
That's if you want an on-ice jersey, that's the game jersey.
With the strap and everything.
Yeah, it is now $629.99. That's with the player's name on the back. Now, if you want a blank one, $549.99 for the authentic. You can get it customized with a name and number, but you're looking at that $630 mark again. This is insane.
Holy.
Pricing's ridiculous. I will say those jerseys do come from the manufacturer that the NHL has, I would assume.
Out of Quebec.
Yeah, which produces the jerseys for the players.
Yes.
Which is just changed over. Whoever buys the official merch or jersey supplier of the NHL or whatever, they just have taken that over.
Yes.
Fans get, as you go in the lower jerseys,
$289.99 for premium white away.
those ones are done by Fanatics, I believe,
Yeah.
in some way. So that's where the concerns come in. But if you're spending that $6 something, I'm not defending the price. You are getting a true authentic one.
But still,
It's a ridiculous
man,
price.
$630.
They got to kiss you before they screw you, don't they? My goodness.
Yes, Murray.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah. It's just I know that there's the varying levels of the uniforms, but the price point has just gotten insane. And I know most people are not going to go and give me the on ice jersey. They'll get the replica, but
still the for being that price.
The replica is $289.
Yeah.
The Reebok replica jersey.
$289.
This is 8-9 years ago without a name or number. I think that was $150. Somewhere, depending on what market you're in, $150 to $200. Then you get a name on it. You're looking at least at another $80. But it's crazy what the prices have become.
Well, go look at how much a hoodie costs.
Minimum $60 now.
They had a hoodie, I think, on their store, or a sweatshirt. I can't remember which one it was. That's $200.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Get
there's
outta
no
here.
way that an Edmonton Oilers hoodie is $60. That would make no sense.
I think that's low, actually. I think it starts
think that's low.
85.
Yeah, it's got to be way more than $60.
Oh yeah.
I got to see if I can find the one I saw, because I saw somebody posted online. It was a $200 sweater or hoodie.
Was it like an OVO one, like a mashup between Drake's company and
Nope.
the Oilers? Because I know the Raptors have that now.
I wonder if it's shirts. Then I hate when they don't have things.
I think the
labeled
Canucks are with
properly.
Lululemon. They have like some
so-
Canucks Lululemon stuff.
So that's not $60 for a hoodie.
No, it's
Yeah.
$60 for a pair of underwear.
Well, he's looking that up. Is Alex Ovechkin going to pass Wayne Gretzky on the most goals list this year?
This year, and he's what, 42?
41 to tie, 42 to break it, I think.
I think he does, Murray. 'cause-
I'm one of those people that hopes he doesn't.
and I understand that. Like, it would be nice to just have Wayne Gretzky as the all-time scoring leader, goals
Damn right.
leader. I think it's inevitable, and he would have passed it without the missed seasons,
Yeah.
COVID.
He'll
But
keep playing until he
Gretzky did
gets
miss part of 94. Wasn't it a shortened season?
Yeah, that was a 48-game season, and he was hurt in the early 90s too, I think.
Just quickly, there is this hoodie, which is $200, or a
that's-
sweatshirt.
That is
That just says
disgusting.
oil.
Yeah, well, I don't like that at all.
It is the Edmonton Oilers unisex Mitchell and Ness in your face oversized white crew neck sweatshirt, $200. Oilers wraps around.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not buying that.
No, thanks, Mitchell and Ness.
We're like, yeah, no, it's I want to see if I can find what like their cheapest hoodie would be.
Well, you know what the cheapest is? Like the game day apparel that like the players wear, the locker room stuff that's made by Fanatics. Like you can find decent prices on
Well,
those.
I'm at the Oilers website, so like this is what you would get if you went to the game. Mm-hmm. There are sales right now for 50% off. So the cheapest thing you can actually get is $30 for an Adidas gray and black pullover hoodie. It's regular
Really?
70 or a regular 100. It's 70% off.
What?
Do you have a picture?
Yeah, like why is that on sale like that?
It's old. It's no longer Adidas,
Oh, yeah.
probably.
Yeah, Adidas stuff they got to just clear out.
So if I go based off of not on sale, the cheapest hoodie they have is $85.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
That's not.
Now that wraparound sweater was $200. You're going to get that at the end of the year at 75% off because no one's buying that. It is not
That's
attractive.
not even.
Says
Well
you,
designed.
Murray.
Now, same with that one that you just showed too. I mean, that didn't sell because it's not very attractive either.
I didn't actually. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mind that other sweater.
Didn't mind that one. The
Not
big
for
one?
200. I could wear that. I think.
Yeah, but you can wear anything.
No, I disagree with that, Murray. But thank you for having that confidence in me.
I don't think Ovechkin gets it this year.
You don't
he
think he
only
gets
got
it this year?
31 goals last year.
I know, but he woke up in the second half.
Yeah, he's how old is he now?
39.
39.
He's a week older than me.
Yep.
You got to think he's going to get nicked up and miss some time at that age
He's
and
a
whatnot
tank.
too. He is a tank. Holy.
I think he does it this year. I think he's going to get off to a way better start. He's going to be motivated to beat that record. I don't know what
So he's on
type
a
of team Washington's going to be, but
No, they
he
should
is
be
on a
great.
downward trend when it comes to goals based in the last 3 seasons. 3 seasons ago in 77 games, he had 50 goals. 2 seasons ago in 73 games, he had 42 goals. If he played those rest, maybe he would have got a little closer to the 50. And then last year in 79 games, so the most games played in the last 3 seasons, only 31 goals.
I know.
So
Yeah,
he's on a
horrible
downward
start, though.
trend.
Yeah, he was,
Who's to say he doesn't have that again?
he'll,
It's possible. But
he won't stop playing until he gets it though. So even
He's
if it
getting
takes him, he comes back next year as a 40-year-old. How many people play in the NHL at 40? Not very many.
no.
How old's Derek Ryan? He's
Derek
getting
Ryan's
there.
37-ish, 38, somewhere
Yeah.
around there. This is last year of his deal. So,
Need to get to Road Warriors, presented by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas, equipment, highway transportation, quality, innovation, integrity, trusted by leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large loads, AccuSteel.ca. 2 games in baseball tonight in the playoffs, both in the American League. Yankees with a 1-0 series lead. They're hosting the road team Royals at 5:38. Mr. Redbeard, his Royals taking on my Yankees. And then the Tigers on the road down 1-0 against the Guardians. That gets going this afternoon at 2:08. And then we also have the one NFL game today with the Saints on the road against the Chiefs. Monday Night Football, Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Lieutenant Eric will be there where you can watch the game with him on Monday. The Loaded Burger is the daily special, but the Chiefs hosting the Saints in the NFL. Those are your big sports for today. Is there's also preseason in the NBA, but who cares? It's preseason.
Yeah, Celtics dominated their preseason game yesterday. Yeah, baby.
It's preseason.
Very happy
I know,
about this.
it
I
doesn't
can
matter,
see.
it doesn't
Yeah, there
matter.
you go. Very happy, Murray.
The Yankees looking for the 2-0 lead.
You
Who's
guys
going on
into
now?
the baseball?
I love baseball. Baseball playoffs are my favorite playoffs.
So you're watching?
It was great on Saturday, being at Century because Tube Sox came out. Jay, Tube Sox, and I were sitting there. It was a great night for people watching, by the way, because there was a Billy Joel, Elton John tribute band or somebody
that'd been
playing.
fun.
That's what I thought too after. I was
Yeah.
like, because I do like those two.
Yeah.
But like an older crowd showed up to the sports bar to get a bite beforehand. So there was some great people watching.
I can believe that.
There was
Absolutely.
one group, there was a man and a woman at the end that we were trying to figure out how they were connected. We thought maybe a fee was paid.
Paid service.
Oh,
But I
boy.
didn't think
Oh,
so.
boy.
I
Oh,
don't
boy.
think so. Jay thought so. I didn't think so.
The girlfriend experience.
They didn't talk. There wasn't a lot of conversation between the two.
Okay.
That was the problem. That's when I'm like, well, I don't think it's that. But speaking of, they have all those TVs, and so we had the Elks game on one. There was Phillies Mets for a little bit, but the Yankee game was on, and I was very like getting into it. I was getting mad at my Yankees and stuff. So I love baseball playoffs just because you go from this marathon where no pitch matters. The games don't matter largely in like the bigger picture,
Yeah.
right? Like you can afford to lose here. You
Yeah.
can like to a game where it's okay. It's a best of 5. You drop game 1, like. It's like if the Yankees drop game 1 at home, that's a big deal. Like, okay, now you got to for sure take game 2 because then you got to go to Kansas City, steal 1 to bring it back home type thing. And I love it. I love the intensity of baseball playoffs.
So do I
for you?
actually.
You're
But
into
I've
it too?
not into it this year. I've just casually been watching. I've been more football focused. And
Yeah.
It's been great.
Football
Actually,
and
college
hockey.
football this weekend was
Yeah.
insane.
Oh, Alabama.
One of the biggest upsets you'll ever see in college football.
Unbelievable. They
Vanderbilt
only-
losing to beating Alabama.
That was unbelievable. Because then the Alabama had that huge comeback going in the second
With
half,
Jo-
and then I was at the Elks game, and then I look at my phone and thinking that Alabama was going to come back and win, and they lost. Like holy!
The goalposts ended up in the river.
yeah,
I heard
that's
that,
right.
as it should. But
I saw the picture of them digging it out of the river.
what was their record before beating Alabama? Like that is just
Huge.
unbelievable. But they only fell to number 9, and so with the expanded playoffs to 8, you got to think
12.
Alabama, 12, yeah. So you got to think Alabama's still got their shot at.
Vandy's now 3-2, so they were 2-2 going into that game.
They were
That's a
2-2.
baseball program.
Wow.
Vanderbilt is a
absolutely
very
it
good
is.
baseball
Yeah.
program out there.
Now this week, does 2 play 3 in college
Is that this
football?
weekend, or is that
yeah,
next weekend?
Saturday night.
No, there's a great game there's a great weekend coming up for the SEC. You might be right that it's this weekend.
Yeah, this
Nope.
Saturday.
Next weekend.
Next weekend?
Next weekend, you got 1-5 Texas, Georgia.
Oh my gosh.
And you now have, they both lost this weekend, so they both dropped. But it's 8 Tennessee hosting 7 Alabama. Those are the two massive games that are coming up in 2 weeks. This upcoming weekend in college, the biggest game, you got the rivalry Texas-Oklahoma is going on, the Red River rivalry. That's the biggest. Oh, you also got Ohio State, Oregon, 2 versus 3.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
the one you're
okay, that's
talking
what I'm
about.
talking about, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the SEC. You also got 9 Ole Miss taking on 13 LSU, so a couple of them. Yeah, that's Ohio State, Oregon.
That's a big game. So when you look at these conferences that have been joining and whatnot, it's turning into this where you get way more games in season that just have massive implications. So because of that, you're going to start to see, in the past you could lose 1 game and still be relevant. You're going to be able to lose 2 and maybe even 3 and still be a playoff team.
If you're Big Ten, SEC, 100%.
Yeah.
If you're anyone else, 1 loss at best.
Depending on who that loss is to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like my Hurricanes are in the ACC. They're still undefeated. A couple controversial wins late, but they won. I think they can afford 1 loss.
Damn.
I think. I don't think if they have 2 losses, I don't know how they make the playoffs because I don't think they'll win the ACC, and I don't know if they could get an at-large bid at 2 because the Big Ten and the SEC are just so dominant with how many teams they've added. If we're talking about 12 teams, 5 are guaranteed for conference winners. So we're talking about, what is that? 8 left or 7 left?
7 left.
At least 4 or 5 are coming from the SEC, Big Ten combined. That's it. Like, so
Yeah,
you have
that's
to
a good
be.
point.
It's those two, because those two conferences have just loaded
Yeah,
up
absolutely.
completely. It's made for great television.
Yeah.
It makes me sad though, because like a couple of weeks ago, Washington's out in New York area taking on Rutgers late at night. I'm like, there's no rivalry there.
Right.
The regionalism of college is what made it so much fun and so lovely.
Well, and
Now that's gone.
so many of the teams, you wouldn't really know what they were because they didn't play anybody all
Right.
year until maybe the conference championship, or and then so you didn't when those teams played at the end, you weren't really sure. But now when we're at the end, we're gonna have some really solid matchups, some really good teams playing. The right teams will be in, I think. Anyways, I don't know. That's good. I like it.
I have to say, this with the way things gone, I still love the Canadian Football League watching it. I like watching the NCAA more than the NFL right now. Now, yesterday there were some great games in the NFL. I will throw that out there. And going back to Thursday, but I think NCAA football is at a higher level in terms of entertainment than the NFL is at this moment.
Well, that's fascinating. I mean, the talent obviously isn't the same, but I don't know. Why do you say that?
It's very exciting. The games are exciting. They're high scoring at times. You could have really good defensive games. Last weekend, like not this one, the one prior, the Alabama-Georgia game was one of the best college football games you could ever watch.
Yeah.
Just in general.
And
This
it's in the
weekend,
regular
games are
season
over the
still.
place.
That's what's crazy.
The thing
right
about
now.
college football is a game's never over. Like my Hurricanes that I cheer for were down 24 points, I think, going into the fourth quarter, and they won that football game. Like I remember once Washington State were up, I think, 35 points going in the fourth quarter, and they lost that football game or something. Like it's never over. I always like one thing we love about the World Juniors is it's exciting hockey. The players are giving it their all, but there's the mistakes, and that mistake leads to an odd man rush the other way, which is a goal or whatever it is. And I feel the same as college is that you get that one breakdown defensively, and the receiver's gone 70 yards for a touchdown. Or that field goal. Now, the kickers in college are so much better than they were 10 years ago, but back in the day, like a field goal was never a guarantee. But block kicks can happen all the time, and it's those little errors that add to making the game more unpredictable, which makes it more exciting. And it's the same with the CFL. Final 3 minutes, the game's never over.
Yep.
And in the NFL, I think there's just way too many games that are kind of just Like even you were saying Cowboys Steelers wasn't exactly the greatest game. Had a great finish.
Yeah.
But it wasn't exactly the greatest football game start to finish. I think college, when you sit down and watch a couple of those games, that just how good it is, entertainment, start to finish, is better.
Fair point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lishy via the Paris Jewelers inbox has a question for you, Murray. Guys, I want to ask Murray if the ranch is a part of the Yegg Golf Garage sale or if they have a big end-of-year clearance of apparel from Lish.
Well, we're part of a sale that's called the 4 Club sale that happens at the Sturgeon Valley Golf Course. I don't even know the dates. It's middle of November. The one that she's talking about, the 4 Club sale. The one she's talking about is private clubs. It's at the rugby club, I think.
Okay.
So all the private clubs do that. But ranch, we don't have a lot of stuff left. I mean, the biggest thing we're still to have is we have a bunch of our rental sets, high-end tailor-made golf clubs that we're selling about half price from what the full retail value is. So that's the big thing that we're trying to move. But we have some clothing left, but not a lot. There's not a lot there.
You got a QI10 for me? I finally broke my driver. Well,
did you?
Part of it chipped off, yeah.
Listen, I'm not selling you a QI10 off the rack. You're getting fit at the TaylorMade Performance Center, and you order one in. That's what you're doing. You're not getting something off the rack.
Okay, I appreciate
allowing you
that.
to do that.
Thank you. Okay, I'll do that.
Can you not take off the rack and get it fitted?
No point.
Why not?
Because if you get fit, the fitter has all the different heads, all like 100 different shafts, and all the technology to make sure that he can get you into the absolute perfect combo for you. So if you buy something off the rack, you now own that shaft, you own that head. But what happens if you get fit into a different head than that one and a different shaft than that one? Now what are you gonna do? So just get fit into the exact proper club for you. Order it because it comes in 5 days, and then you smash drives further and straighter than you would with whatever you bought off the rack.
When do you guys open for fitting?
Always.
Or is it? It's even through the winter?
Yeah, it's still outdoors at this moment, but our upstairs banquet room becomes a pretty fun place to hang out in the wintertime. Because
I'll be
I'm not
coming
going to
by.
lie, we don't work that hard in the wintertime. So our upstairs banquet room has a simulator for the TaylorMade Performance Center. So when there's not fittings going on, we can go play with the simulator. We don't have, it's not open for public to use the simulator, just for TaylorMade Performance Center and for us to have fun. And there's also a ping pong table in there. So there happens to be a lot of afternoons at the ranch where there's a lot of ping pong and being played and hitting balls in the simulator.
That's going to be my Christmas gift for myself.
And I'm doing a gift to myself for a post-surgery for next year is new irons. I want brand new irons. Going into, and my irons are from like 07.
It's time.
Oh,
The
wait.
difference that you will notice
I know.
is astronomical with the technology. It's not
So-
going to be close.
I need that. So that's how I'm treating myself this year.
Good. I like
And
that.
you deserve it. And you deserve it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Which means then you're going to have to treat yourself next year once you recover. You deserve it.
You deserve it,
except
Murray.
I don't have to buy it. TaylorMade just gives it to me.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Oh, well,
You got
look
one
at
of those
that.
deals.
I know.
La-di-da.
TaylorMade takes very good
I
care
guess
of me.
when
How
you're
often
a
do you get your
pro.
clubs? Every year?
Oh, yeah.
Fitted every year?
Every year, yeah. But I got to get recovered and then
Yeah.
get my swing back before I'll get fit. But I'm hoping, maybe I'll get fit February, March. I'm hoping that I'll be fully healthy and be able to have some semblance of a normal swing again by then.
You can do it.
That's the game plan.
You'll do it, Murray. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And next year will be a great golf year in the city of Edmonton.
Let's go.
Well,
EST, a lot of EST years will be golf.
that's the thing. Like I said to my wife when I had to bow out with 3 weeks ago, with like a month left or more in the season. So I was misdiagnosed, have a torn labrum. So I won a PGA event. I got second in a PGA event. I got a hole in one. I had back-to-back hole-out eagles, back-to-back on one day, and then the next day hole-out eagles on par fours. I'm thinking, that was a pretty good golf
That is
season
a
with a
good
torn labrum. So I guess I'm okay to take the rest off. I've accomplished lots, even though
You can put your feet up,
Yep.
wrist back, like,
Yeah.
how's it? You can grab a stogie.
yeah, even though
celebrate.
overall I didn't play as well as I normally do, I had some pretty big highlights.
Hell yeah.
So it was a solid year in spite of the injury.
Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk in a few minutes, we do got the lock shop. Dusty and Huss, they'll look back on the NFL weekend, the CFL weekend, and look ahead to Monday nighter tonight. Noon, Oil Stream. Dustin here at studio. Tommy at Rogers Place as the Oilers are on the ice momentarily. Then we got EST Afternoons and the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne coming up later tonight, and Lieutenant Eric Century Casino for the Monday nighter if you wish to join him for the Saints taking on the Chiefs. Murray, it's great seeing you. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah,
So,
since the Estes.
yeah,
Since
great.
you kept me up past my bedtime.
Tommy, have fun at the rink. On behalf of
you.
Tommy, Murray, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout. Also, EST Afternoons and the Reed Wilkins Show. Next 2 chances to qualify for the EST Flyaway to LA presented by the 780. As I mentioned, the lock shop coming up in just a few minutes here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, Edmonton Sports Talk. Don't go anywhere. Have a great day.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here, joining us today.